Good morning. Welcome to Gentle Yoga. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just trying to get my video sorted out here. We're going to start in a seated position today. So just to go ahead and take your time getting seated while I make sure I'm lined up here. Okay. Just let me know if you have any problems seeing or hearing me, but that should be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and come to a seated position. Just start to get comfortable here. We're going to just rock back and forth, kind of really grounding down into the mat. Take your hands to your knees. You can take a mudra if you like this morning, a calming mudra or an energizing mudra, or just hands softly on your knees. Then from our tailbone, we're going to rise up through that spine. Let the energy flow up through the top of the head. Exhale, let the shoulders fall down away from the ears and let the eyes gently close. And start to take your awareness to your breath. You want to just fill up that belly, push up belly button forward. Fill up the lungs. We're breathing all the way to the top of our head. And releasing, exhale from the top of your head down to your belly. Really let those rib cage really open up, creating space, filling up those lungs. Exhale. Grounding down. Inhale. Feel that wave of breath rising up from the tailbone all the way to the top of the head. Exhale. Release. Let the shoulders drop. Let go of any worries. Inhale. Push that belly button out. Just follow those breaths for a few more rounds. Just feeling calm and centered. And pushing that belly button out. On the inhalation, pulling that belly button in. On the exhalation, just one more breath here. Really lengthening, really feeling the energy flow through the spine, up through the crown of the head. Exhale. On the next inhalation, we'll gently open our eyes. And blink a few times. And I'm just going to lengthen and then come forward. Bring our hands out in front of us. Just walk those hands forward. Take that nose towards the floor. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Those hips are heavy. Breathing into any tight areas. Release on the exhalation. Maybe walk those hands a little bit further forward if that's possible. If not, just breathing, continue to breathe into those hips, into the belly. Walk those hands over to the right. creating space in the left side of the body, the hips, in between the ribs. And back to center. And walk those hands over to the left. Find that opening in the right side of the hip. Staying connected to that breath. Release any tension in your face. And walk those hands back to center for a breath. And we'll slowly walk those hands back up. Hands to our knees. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale, bring that right ear down to that right shoulder. You can reach out with that left hand. You can just stay here. This is fine. Or if you want a little bit a deeper stretch, reach those left fingers. Maybe bring this right hand. Guide that ear down. Just really gentle with your neck. And release, inhale up. Now exhale, bring that chin in towards that chest. Rest those hands on the backs of the head. Just kind of gently rest the weight on the back of the head. Lengthening the back of the neck. And release. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, left ear to that left shoulder. We're going to reach out with those right fingers. Reach over with that left hand. Gently guide that left ear to the left shoulder. And gently release. Bring that back up. We'll bring that chin down. And just, if that feels okay, we're going to roll right ear to the right shoulder, and then roll left ear, left shoulder, just a few times, gently rolling the neck. Just be really mindful of how the neck feels. And release. From here, inhale, reach up. Interlock those fingers. We're going to press up to the ceiling. Then reach out at some angles. And we're going to pull those elbows down. We're stretching the front of the shoulders. Inhale up. Exhale, take that W. Inhale up. And then reach up. We're going to drop that right hand. Lengthen up through that left to right elbow. And release, bring that arm across our body, just kind of guide that across. So breathing, reconnect with that breath, breathing into that belly. And then slowly just move that right elbow into that left elbow, and we'll just come here or take that eagle's arms all the way, palms facing each other. Gently unwind, slowly shake out the arms. We're gonna inhale, reach up, left hand down, Grab that left elbow. We're reaching from that left hip all the way up to that left elbow. Lengthen. While pulling that navel in strong through that core. And release. Guide that arm across the body. And then slowly move that elbow into that other elbow. So left elbow inside of the right elbow. We're fine here, or wrap all the way around. Bring those palms kind of facing each other. Lengthen up through the crown of the head. Gently unwind. We're gonna inhale, reach out, give ourselves a hug, pull those shoulders away from the ears, lengthen through the back of the neck. Just giving our shoulders some extra attention this morning. And reach. Give us just a hug, pull down. Lengthen to that back of that neck. We're breathing into the belly and release. Shake those arms. And from here, we're gonna bring that right hand down and then just reach over with that left arm. Try to keep both those hips on the mat and come down, coming down to where you're feeling that opening stretch, maybe all the way down to your elbow. Reach those fingertips are connected through the hip sit bones to the mat. And inhale up, exhale, come to the other side. We'll reach. And release, inhale, exhale, we'll come to the other side. Kind of open up, open the heart. Pulling that thumb kind of towards the back of the room. And gently bring that left hand down to that right knee. We'll take a gentle twist here, right hand behind you. Inhale, lengthen. We'll take that gaze towards the back of the room. And pulling up through the crown of that head. Exhale, nose goes towards the back of the room. Pulling that navel in. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, twisting. And gently release, unwind. And come down that left hand, reach over. Just kind of roll open up that heart. So reaching through that those right fingertips. That thumb comes towards the back of the room. And then gently release down. We'll take that twist on the other side. Inhale, lengthen, exhale. That gaze to the back of the room. And gently release, unwind. Roll those shoulders back a few times and then forwards. From here, we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. And push those hips forward towards the heels, or stay here, right where you're at. Grab those feet, maybe massage those arches of the feet. Take a nice tall breath in. And then we're going to take our nose down towards the floor, lengthen to the back of the head, pressing those knees away down towards the mat. So really think of yourself as hinging at those hip flexors. Trying to keep a nice straight spine. Doesn't have to be stick straight, just not too much of that hunching over motion. So we're really inhaling and lengthening, exhaling, hinging, folding forward at those hips. Just a few more breaths here. Pull that navel in towards the spine. See if you can bring your nose just a little closer to the floor. And release, gently come up. We're gonna straighten that right leg. Keep that left foot in towards that right thigh. We're just going to bring our torso over our extended leg and just slide our hands down. Rubbing your shin, your ankle, your foot. Flex that foot, pull the heart toward, pulling that heart forward. And release, just gently switch legs. Inhale, lengthen, rotate, come down. Pulling that nose down towards the shin. Lengthen through the back of the neck. And release, come back up. Bring those legs out in front of you. And let us window wash them just a couple times, just from side to side. Should feel good on the lower back. And then we're gonna move through a seated position into a tabletop. Let's bring those knees underneath those hips. Ankles under, wrists under those shoulders. Pressing those feet down. Once we're here, nice long spine, we're gonna inhale, push that belly down, look forward, cow facing pose. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin, cat pose. Inhale back to that cow. Push that belly down, open that heart, pull those shoulders back. Exhale, tucking the tailbone, pulling that needle in, tucking, roll the shoulders around the shoulders. Pull that chin towards your chest. Inhale, push that belly back down to cow, and then just kind of follow with your own pace, your own breath. few more rounds of that cat and cow, just warming up those muscles around the spine. Come back to a neutral position, and then we're gonna go ahead and just push our hips out to the sides. Releasing any tension in the hips. Maybe take a circular motion over those wrists and those hips at the same time. Should feel like a good stretch on your wrists. Should feel like you're kind of releasing those hips a little bit. And come back to a neutral position. I'm gonna press through those right toes and then press that heel. Soften through that calf. Make sure those fingers are really spread out, protect the wrists. And bend that knee, lift up through that hamstring. Make sure those hips are leveled off. And release down. Inhale, push that belly down. Exhale to cat. Inhale, neutral, and then exhale, we'll press those on that left heel back. Making sure that that right hip is over that right knee, so you're now sort of kind of going out to one side. We're kind of really level. And engaging that hamstring and glute. We're going to bend that, open up that foot to the ceiling. And release down. From here, we're going to just walk those knees back. I'm just going to softly come back. And to come back, hips don't have to come all the way down. We're just kind of softly, they're moving towards those heels. We can let that forward come down all the way to the mat if you like. I'm going to stay here, sort of reaching. Gently come back up, we'll bring those knees wide, then bring those hips back, reach. And then try to let everything soften down into the mat for a few breaths. We're just letting everything go. Then we're just going to take that forward and roll that side to side on the mat, especially if you have like allergies. Sometimes that helps. Or headaches from allergies. Or just feels good on your neck. Breathing into that belly. On the exhalation, just letting everything release. Just maybe finding stillness just for a moment in your breath. In a pose. And we're gonna gently come back up. You can keep those knees wide or bring them back to right underneath your hips. It's kind of whatever feels best here. We're going to inhale up our right arm, right elbow, reach all the way up, full extension. And then we're going to go ahead and just thread that underneath that left arm. Bring that shoulder down to the mat. Reach forward with that left arm. So then you decide if you like feels better with you want to keep your knees wide today, that's fine. If you want to work them towards each other, it's also fine. But really you just want to feel that softening of that right shoulder into the mat. Breathe into the belly. On the exhalation, let that shoulder melt. Any tension in the shoulder just releases, dissipates. Reconnect with that breath or breathing into the belly. Bend that left arm, we're gonna press up. We'll lift up through that left elbow, gentle twists, maybe reach all the way. And we'll go ahead and thread that underneath that right arm. Move that right arm forward. You bring that left shoulder down to the mat. Just let that release, melt, relax. Let that shoulder make contact with the mat, and then just let all the muscles just release. Surrender for a moment. Breathe into the belly. And bend that right arm, we're gonna press up. Bring those knees to hip width apart. Bring those hips right over the knees, and I'm gonna reach forward for that puppy pose. So really pressing those palms, bring that forehead down to the mat. Always have the option of coming up on those, kind of tent those hands, come up on those fingertips if you want a deeper stretch in that shoulder. We're just pressing those palms into the mat. Soften through the face. Let the tongue be loose in your mouth, the jaw release. And gently release. We're just gonna move through this pose into a pose coming to our belly. I'm gonna reach, take a nice long stretch. Bend those knees, just gonna rock those back and forth. Roll out those hips, the back. And then drop those legs. And slide those palms underneath the shoulders. Press everything down. We're going to gently come up. Maybe just peel a few inches up off the mat. A little bit more. If it feels good, maybe move from side to side a little bit. We're pressing through our palms. Our arms are strong. Anything that pinches or feels at all uncomfortable in your lower back, just lay down, skip it. Always listen to your body. Release, bring that right shoulder down to the mat. Let those arms long. Let go. Big, deep breath into the belly. Release, melt into the mat. Bend those knees. You can rock this from side to side a few more times. Open up those bottom of the feet to the ceiling. We're gonna grab that left foot with that left hand. Press the top of the foot into the hand. If you can't reach, then just stay here. You can keep, window washing your feet. That should feel good. Otherwise, we're just kind of opening that quad, the front of the quad. And release. We'll just take the other foot, press that right foot into the right hand. And release. Release those legs down. We're gonna work our arms out in front of us. And we're coming here. We're gonna come to our space pose so wherever you're at, if here is good, stay here. If you want to inch those elbows in further or all the way to underneath those shoulders. We're coming here, we're pressing up, out. You can look, actually lengthen the back of your neck and look down, or straight on, but we're pressing the tops of those legs, the feet, the palms, everything's pressing into the mat. We're pushing up, and peeling up, rising up out of that mat. Press through those elbows. And release. We'll take the opposite cheek down to the mat. So it should be your right or left cheek. Whichever is opposite. And release. Breathe nice, even deep breaths into the belly. One more breath here. Just letting yourself release one more time. And bring those hands underneath those shoulders. We're going to press out, move through that tabletop position. From here, we're going to inhale up. Knees are hip width apart. We're pressing down to the tops of those feet. Bring those thumbs to the back. Try to take those elbows pointing towards the back of the room. And just a really kind of subtle heart opener here. You can look kind of just at an angle or maybe all the way up to the ceiling. So whatever feels okay on your back. Really engaging the glutes, the hamstrings. Inhale up. And exhale, reach forward. Really gently kind of rock from side to side here. Our hips are about 6 inches or just above our heels. I'm in a place where they can kind of move from side to side. And from here, we're going to press through those palms, tuck those toes, take those hips back, and alternate those heels on the mat. Your ears are by your biceps. Middle finger points to the front top of the mat. And keep those knees a little bent. And we'll walk those feet to the hands. And take those feet a little bit further, or a little bit wider than your hips. And come to ragdoll. So we're just loosening that neck, grabbing opposite elbows, swaying. Strong through those legs. Pressing through all 4 corners of those feet. Release those arms down. Bring those feet heel toe those two hip width apart, hip width distance. Inhale, gaze forward, take a half lift up to that belly. Strong through the legs. Exhale, fold forward. We're going to grab opposite elbows from where we were for ragdoll. So just kind of figure what feels opposite here. Nod that head yes, shake that no. Maybe sway a little bit one more time. And release those hands down. From here, we're going to bring that left foot back. We're going to come into a low lunge. We're lifting through that hamstring. Knee is above that right ankle. And we'll release that. Knee down. You can keep these toes kind of curled if that helps with your stability, or just lay that foot flat. I'm going to plant that left hand, and then we're going to take a gentle twist to reach up to the ceiling. And exhale back down. And we're going to inhale up, small crescent. If you like, you can interlock those fingers, press up if that feels good on your shoulders, or release and then interlock those fingers behind. Then go ahead and release, bring those hands to the top of that knee. We're softening to that front of the left hip. We're pulling back through that right hip crease. And release, straighten that front leg. We're coming to that half split or runner stretch. So we're inhale, lengthen, or hinging at the waist. Bring those hands down. We're gonna pull those right toes back towards us. Soften to the back of the right knee. Try to keep that left hip over that left knee. Lengthen to the back of the neck. And then notice your breath. What is it doing? And release. Let those hips fold forward, fall forward. Notice if they feel a little different this time, a little looser. I'm gonna bring that right foot to the right hand to the right, inside the right foot, sorry. Heel to that foot out to the edge, coming to that lizard. And if you're one of those really flexible people, you can always take that knee kind of out, or fall out to the right if that feels good. Or maybe coming down all the way to those elbows. Or if you have something like a big book or cushion or anything, something that like a block or that is a block, you can always, where should I come down? Or block. Lots of variations, but this is just fine. As long as you feel that softening, opening to that hip flexor. Go ahead and heel to that back to center. We're gonna tuck those back toes. We're gonna lengthen through both of those legs. Maybe scooch that back foot in a little bit, and then these feet, they don't have to be in line. Maybe they're like hip width apart. And for pyramid pose or intense side stretch, we'll just find with the distance where we can kind of come down on our fingertips or our hands, where we're pressing into the mat with both of our legs, trying to keep those hips squared. It's a little tricky, but just kind of finding what works for you. And then we're going to gently release back, coming back to that low lunge. Remove that right foot to that left foot. Come back into this pose. Downward facing dog. And sooner or later, this pose is going to start feeling like a resting pose. Sometimes it feels like a lot of work. And we're going to go ahead and come down on our knees. Bring that left foot forward. Bring those hands to either side of the foot. Tuck those back toes, and then we're going to lift up through that hamstring. Strong through those legs. Bring that knee down. Plant that little right hand, and we'll take a gentle twist. So reach up to that ceiling. Back down. Take a breath. We'll inhale, scoop those arms up. Interlock those fingers here, press up. Or bring those arms back here. We're pulling back through that left hip crease. Release the hands. You can bring them to the top of that left foot, left knee. And we're just softening through the front of that right thigh, right hip. And release those hands down, lengthen through that left leg. Inhale. Lengthen, exhale, bring that nose down towards that shin. Trying to keep that hip over the knee on the right side. Pulling those toes back toward you. On the left side, soften through the back of that left knee. And then reconnect the breath. Release any tension in the face. And release, come forward, bring that left hand inside of the foot, heel toe that to the edge. Coming into our lizard. Softening to that left hip flexor. Breathing into those tight areas. And then releasing on your exhalation. And hands to that foot back to center. We're going to tuck the toes of that back foot. Straighten both those legs. Scooch that back foot in for pyramid pose or intense side stretch. So we're just trying to keep both those hips kind of squared towards the front of the mat. Trying to keep, you can have a micro bend in the knees. They don't have to be straight. This long spine. Pressing through those legs just for a few breaths. And release, bring that right knee back down. Left knee comes to the right knee. Come to a seated position. Bring those legs out in front of us. We have those heels together, maybe just a little bit apart. We're hanging our hands by our hips. Inhale, lengthen. Really engaging that core. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold forward, hinging at those hips, grab the shins, the ankles, the feet. Maybe you have a towel, yoga strap you'd like to wrap around the balls of those feet. Pull your heart forward. Sucking up those kneecaps into the sides, so active in the legs. Pulling the navel towards the spine. And once you're there, just start to follow that breath. Release, relax into the pose. Pull that navel in towards that spine. See if your nose comes a tiny bit closer to the shins. And release. Gently come up. From here, we're going to bend that right knee. Ears up about fist distance in between the foot and the leg. Bring that right hand behind us. We're going to inhale up this left arm. Try to get this elbow to the outside of this knee. And we'll take our gaze towards the back of the room. So really engaging that core, sucking that navel in will help you kind of get your gaze towards the back of the room. Stay here for sage or here. What we really want is that nice stretch, that nice twist, massaging those organs, stretching out those muscles around the spine, inhaling, lengthening it through the head. Exhale, twisting. And release. We're going to slowly unwind. Slowly switch legs. Bring that left hand behind. We're going to inhale up that right arm and then bring that elbow to the outside of the knee. Take that gaze towards the back, pulling that navel in. Inhale through that crown of the head. Exhale, twist. And gently release, slowly unwind. We're going to come to our sit bones and challenge our core. So you can grab the back of those hamstrings or reach forward. You want to straighten those legs. Take a nice broad chest. And release, roll forward. We are going to roll to our back, so if you want to put down blankets, go ahead and take our time. Grab the back of those hamstrings, we're going to roll back. And grab the front of the knees. We'll just rock from side to side. Massage that back. Knees go in a circle. Other direction. Pull those knees in. Press them away. Let those knees fall apart. Soften to those hip flexors. Away, apart. Pull those up. And from here, take those arms up to a T. Just drop those knees to one side. Always straighten that top leg for a deeper stretch. Take that gaze to the opposite side. Trying to keep those shoulders on the mat. And release into that stretch. Nice, deep, even breaths into the belly. And slowly bring those knees back into center. We'll just drop them to the other side of our body. Release into the twist. And slowly bring those knees back in. Set those feet down, knees bent. So we're gonna bring that right ankle on top of that left knee. Press that right knee away. Stay here or grab that left back of that left hamstring. Taking that figure four. Pressing that right knee away from the body, keeping that right foot flexed, left foot flexed. And release. Switch legs. Lifting from the right knee. Flexing that foot. Staying here, pressing that left knee away. Or grab the back of that right hamstring. Flexing both feet. Breathe into that left hip. Soften on the exhalation. And release that right foot down, left foot down. We'll lengthen out those legs. Getting comfortable for Shavasana. Maybe you want to put a blanket over your body or something under your head. Arrange those shoulders so they can release into the mat. Open up those palms to the ceiling. Let those feet fall to the sides. Take a big breath into the belly. And exhale. Let everything go. Everything just releases and melts, surrenders into the mat. Gently close your eyes if they're not already closed. Soften the muscles around the eyes. Let those cheeks release. Let your tongue be loose in your mouth. Soften the jaw. Soften through your entire face. And start to watch your breath. Inhaling. Relaxation into the belly. Exhale, watch the breath leave the body. Observe being the breath as it enters and exits. Let your shoulders just melt into the mat. Every muscle just releases, widens, softens. That softening travels down your arms, biceps, triceps, forearms, hands, fingers. All soften and melt, release. All the muscles in your back widen, soften. Your hips melt. The hamstrings widen. Glutes release. Let your quads feel heavy. The backs of your knees and your calf muscles widen and soften and melt into the mat. All the muscles in your feet release. Toes, ankle, heel. Whole body just melts, softens, widens into the mat. Just continue to follow that breath, breathing in relaxation. And the exhalation is releasing. Relaxing and melting a little further into the pose. Slowly start to bring your awareness back to your body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rock your head from side to side. A big breath. Release just one last time into the mat. Go ahead and bend your knees. And slowly roll over onto the right side of our body. One last breath. And slowly pressing yourself up to a seated position. Bring your hands to heart center. And namaste. Thank you for joining me this morning, and thank you to everyone who let me know about September. It's no rush. I didn't need to know like right away. And I was going to send any payment information you might need in this email, but I will if anybody still needs it. And if you need anything, just send me a message. And I hope to see everyone Friday morning. Have a good rest of your day.